Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is Mauricio Umansky, as we know, is Kyle Richards' husband of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, before we dive into his looming legal battle over a fraud lawsuit that happened, I believe, in 2017, 2019, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a Kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. So with that, you guys, let's dive right on in. So let's go through the whole article and then we'll talk about it. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Mauricio Umansky fights back against fraud lawsuit as legal battle over $32.5 million mansion continues and 2023 trial looms. Okay, here we go. Wait, side note, before we dive in, don't you think it's funny how all of the tabloids, like Radar Online, Reality Blurb, Page Six, all of that, they always refer to Mauricio as Kyle Richards' husband of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like, even in this article, how come they're not saying, star of Buying Beverly Hills on Netflix? See, something's fishy is going on. Something fishy is going on. Why aren't they calling him, star of Buying Beverly Hills on Netflix? Does Netflix say, keep our name out your mouth, Mauricio? Maybe, but let's keep going. So Mauricio Umansky sold a massive mansion in Malibu for $32.5 million in December of 2015. And now, 7 years later, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills husband and Buying Beverly Hills star remains entangled in a messy legal battle over the sale, during which he was accused of defrauding a potential buyer. Side note, this is not the first time that the agency and Mauricio have been sued for something very, very similar. All you gotta do is a quick little Google search and everything will come up. So it's not out of the left field, like we can't believe Mauricio would do this. We can't believe the agency is being sued. They've had a very shady past with a lot of lawsuits and fraud schemes. And also don't forget that Mauricio was working at Hilton and Highland, which was, his brother's-in-law's company. He left in a disgrace. He basically stabbed Rick in the back. He poached a bunch of agents and a bunch of clients and left because Rick was like, I don't trust you, boo-boo. You're not going to become a partner. That's basically what it was. But let's continue. After Mauricio's professional relationship with the buyer, Mauricio Oberfield, was uncovered following the March 2017 flip of the property, which netted a whopping $69.7 million. So let's say $70 million. So Mauricio and this other guy, Mauricio Oberfield, made $70 million off of the sale of their client's house. Sam Hakim, who had been eyeing the Malibu home for years, and his broker, Eitan Segal, filed lawsuits against him that are ongoing. Okay, so this is why they filed the lawsuits against him. So this Sam Hakim and his broker, Eitan Segal, wanted to buy the house, and they were not allowed to buy the house. But then it turns out that Mauricio, the person selling the house, and his other friend, Mauricio Oberfield, were the ones who ended up buying the house. So I get why they're pissed, and I get why they are suing. It's like, wait a minute, you're selling the house. I want to buy the house, and you're not going to sell it to me because you want to buy it to flip it and make a profit. And I think the reason why it is illegal is because it was not disclosed. Anybody can buy your house. Your real estate agent could buy your house. But if they buy it and they don't disclose the fact that they are buying it themselves, that's where the fraud comes in. That's where the illegalities come in. But let's keep going. On December 12th, the Los Angeles Times revealed that after the government took ownership of the property and listed it for sale with Mauricio's help in May of 2015, Mauricio allegedly ignored Sam's offer, which was facilitated by Eitan, in lieu of an offer from Oberfield, potentially because he and Oberfield were working together at the time. This is also illegal. Your real estate agent has to disclose to you all offers. All offers. So if somebody says, I want $10 million for your house, they have to tell you. Somebody said they'll give you 10 million. If somebody says, I'll give you 100K, you have to say, I'll give you 100K. I'll give you 100 million. I'll give you 100 million. So the fact that he ignored it and did not disclose it both to his client, which would be the person that's selling the house, that is also illegal. So not only are you defrauding your client by not showing all of the offers on the house because you actually are the one who wants to buy it, but you're also defrauding the potential buyers of the home. And that's why the potential buyers of the home are suing him. They're like, wait a minute, we lost out on commission. We lost out on the home because you didn't disclose the fact that we gave an offer to your client, which is illegal. And then on top of that, you are the one who went and bought the house, which is, again, is illegal, not in and of itself, but it's illegal because you didn't disclose that you were the one who were buying it, right? It's never the crime, it's the cover-up. So here we go. Quote, we have litigated many broker misconduct cases involving ultra-luxury residential properties in Southern California, but have never encountered a case as unique and egregious as the one involving Mr. Umansky. Jennifer Shakuri and Alan Hardy, Sam's attorney, said in a statement to the Times. Listen, I agree. This is some Tom Girardi foolery. This is some Tom Girardi. This is some Madoff. This is some Enron stuff. You made $70 million defrauding your client. How? See, that's this is another thing that pisses me off. How is Mauricio and the agency still in business? This is how you get the Tom Girardis of the world, where it is so blatant, it is so clear that they are defrauding people, but yet they're still in business. How is he still in business? The same way, how did Tom Girardi defraud people for decades? How are they still in business? Because I promise you, if this was a Joe Schmo real estate agent down the corner, they would have been, the Better Business Bureau would have been breaking them down. They would have been debunked. They would have all would have been in the clink clink. They all would have been to jail. But somehow Mauricio gets away with this crap. How are they still in business? Not only how are they still in business, how did they then get a show on Netflix? Insult to injury. Insult to injury, right? So not only are you out here defrauding people, clients, other brokers, other agents, but now you're out here fronting on Netflix like you have a legitimate business. And quiet as it's kept, on the Netflix show, they're also exposed for their shady stuff. Even Farrah, who is his stepdaughter, had issues with him and she wanted to quit the agency. She had issues with how she was being worked like a dog and then she wasn't even being compensated properly. So if you're not paying your own family correctly, imagine what you're doing to everybody else. Farrah said it on the show. She wasn't getting the right amount of compensation. Basically, the company was stealing from her. She was supposed to be getting more compensation and she wasn't getting it. And they were working Farrah like a dog and she was ready to leave. That's why I think Farrah is going to pull a Mauricio that Mauricio did on Rick. I think Farrah is going to poach agents and clients and start her own agency. And the difference is, I hope she does. She is very smart. She is very with it. I think Farrah should cut ties with Mauricio and the agency. In a business capacity, I get it's family. And I think she should start her own agency on her own and build it up from there because she seems legit. She seems very smart. But if you are already saying you're my stepfather and the company that you own isn't paying me right, imagine what he's doing to everybody else. How are they still in business? How? It's sickening. It's sickening. Okay, let's keep going. Although Sam and Ayton also knew Mauricio prior to the sale and trusted the realtor, they believe he committed a violation against them, and Sam is seeking at least $35 million in damages in their consolidated lawsuits against him. Mauricio, who has attempted to have the case dismissed, also offered a statement to the Times. With the rapid growth of the agency and the recent launch of our Netflix series, we have a lot to be proud of and thankful for. It saddens me that others seek to diminish our success by rehashing old news about a transaction that closed in 2016. I will not comment on the specifics of the ongoing litigation, except to say that the allegations are false, and I am extremely confident that we will prevail, he said. First of all, Mauricio, all of that is bullshit. I'm sorry, your whole statement is BS. Anybody with half a brain knows that this is not rehashing something that happened in 2016. This is called the legal process. You can sue someone one day. It doesn't mean that the next month they're going to court. Obviously, it takes years sometimes for actual lawsuits to go to court. Number one, when they had to figure out that they were defrauded. So the transaction happened in 2016, and then they had to realize they were being defrauded. Then it had to go through discovery. Then it had to go through research. Then it had to go through pre-trial litigations. It has to go through mediation. So shut up, Mauricio. This isn't coming to light because you have a dumb show on Netflix that nobody is watching. It's coming to light because you have been defrauding people for years upon years upon years. This is not the first fraud case you've had, and this probably won't be the last one. And I'm shocked you're still in business. So please shut up. Please. What you did was disgusting. Disgusting. But let's keep going. Let me put it this way. What you allegedly did, don't come after me. The banner's down there. Don't come after me. As Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans may recall, the home was seized from wealthy African government official Teodoro Neguem Obiang Mangu, who is currently serving as the vice president of Equatorial Guinea after he and his family were targeted by an international money laundering investigation. He had purchased the Malibu mansion from Karen rhobh, whose family's production company was behind Wheel of Fortune in 2006. After Teodoro reached a settlement with the government in 2014, not admitting wrongdoing, he agreed to sell his assets, including his mansion, for no less than $32 million, which was its fair market value at the time. And in the listing agreement the government made with Mauricio, his firm was giving a 6% commission, as well as the ability to represent the buyer, which meant a double commission on the sale. Although Oberfield, the co-owner of a luxury home builder, ended up nabbing the property with a $33.5 million bid, potentially due to his, quote, long friendship and working relationship with Mauricio. Mauricio was a member of Oberfield's company. Their flip raised questions amongst realtors. So basically, Mauricio was in bed with, Mauricio was in bed with the other Mauricio, Oberfield. So Mauricio was a member of Oberfield's company. They were longstanding friends. So basically, he sold the house to himself in partnership with the other Mauricio. But the two Mauricios bought it. But basically, he sold the house to himself. Then, after Teodoro learned that Mauricio had possibly made the deal with Oberfield only for their own potential profit, so he lowballed, right? He's like, hey, listen. Here's the offers. Here's the offer for $33.5 million. Let's take this offer. Because of course he's going to do that. If I'm buying a house, I want to buy it for as little as possible. Because then when I flip it, I'm then going to be able to make the most money back in the margin. So if I buy it for $30 million and I flip it for $40 million, I made $10 million, right? So of course, I'm going to want to lowball. But it's illegal if I'm lowballing my client without disclosing the fact that I'm buying it. That's what makes it illegal. That's what makes it fraud. Although Mauricio and the agency, Then after for their own potential profit, thus cutting the home sale price down, he demanded Mauricio attend mediation and requested $8 million in damages. Although Mauricio and the agency attempted to settle the battle by turning a claim into their insurer, Western World, the company refused to pay and accused Mauricio and his firm of hiding potential negligence and breach of fiduciary and statutory duties. Oh, damn. So basically, Mauricio's own insurance company, Western World, said, hold up, you committed fraud. We're not paying this. You committed fraud. They accused him and his firm, the agency, of hiding potential negligence and breach of fiduciary and statutory duties. So a fiduciary duty means if I have a fiduciary duty to someone, that means I legally have to act in that person's best interest, right? I have a fiduciary duty. For example, if I am a stockbroker and I am entrusted with, buying and selling your stocks, I have a fiduciary duty to act in your best interest. If I am your lawyer, I have a fiduciary duty to act in your best interest. If I'm your real estate agent, I have a fiduciary duty to act in your best interest. It basically means the position you're in, you are legally supposed to act in your clients, your representatives, the person you're overseeing, in their best interest, not your own, and their best interest. And so his own insurance company was like, nah, boo-boo, you're not about to get us. You were negligent and you're running a scam here. After reaching an undisclosed settlement with the insurance company, Mauricio faced a lawsuit from Oh, damn. So Mauricio had to pay the insurance company off. Mauricio had to pay the insurance company off because they were like, we're on to your scheme and your scam. Mauricio faced a lawsuit from Teodoro and ultimately agreed on a settlement close to the believed amount of the highest offer on the home. So he also paid off Teodoro. So Mauricio not only paid off the insurance company, he also paid off his client. So to me, if you're paying people off, you're probably guilty. You're probably guilty. Let's keep going. As for Sam and Aiton, they claimed in their own lawsuits against Mauricio that Aiton had told Mauricio that Sam would pay, quote, significantly more than asking, between $40 million to $45 million. They also said they didn't submit the offer in writing because Mauricio told them the offer wasn't profiting. Mauricio told them the owner wasn't profiting from this sale. So they're saying, like, we trusted him. We told him the verbal offer. He said, don't put it in writing because of X, Y, and Z. But now they're probably saying Mauricio told us not to put it in writing because, like the insurance company said, you're trying to hide that you're being shady. You're trying to hide that you're being a fraudster. You're trying to hide that you're being negligent. So 5 offers on the property were ultimately received, with Oberfield securing the price of $32.5 million in December of 2015 before having $1 million cut from the price as part of a repair discount. That's why we now have the $32.5 million. After learning he'd been beaten out from the home, Sam sent Oberfield a letter informing him that he'd pay $8 million to buy out his bid. But after the developer demanded a $15 million buyout, Sam declined. They are so shady. So shady. It wasn't until years later, in August 2018, after Sam learned Mauricio and the agency had been sued by their insurer. See, I told you Mauricio's statement was full of crap, completely full of crap. Oh, now people want to come out with it? It's just like I said. The house was on the market in 2015. It closed in 2016. And that the people who are suing them now, Sam and the other guy, it took them 2 years to figure out they got conned. They got scammed. It took them 2 years. It took them 2 years to figure it out. It wasn't until years later, in August 2018, after Sam learned Mauricio and the agency had been sued by the insurer. Because remember, like I just said, the insurer said, we're on to you. You're going to give us money to keep us quiet. That's why, like I said earlier, that's why these fraudsters are still in business. Because instead of the insurer turning them over to, I don't know, maybe the feds or the FTC or whoever the hell it is that should be doing their job and closing down these fraudsters, instead of doing that, they said, pay us. Pay us and we'll keep our mouth shut. So that's what they did. They paid the insurer to keep their mouth shut, and they kept on business as usual. Same thing in the Tom Girardi case. He was paying people off left and right, paying off judges, paying off executives, paying off, the California State Bar, paying off. And you wonder why people who have committed systematic, institutionalized fraud get away with it for so long? Because the people who are supposed to hold them accountable, instead of holding them accountable, they ask for a check. That's why they're still in business. Because why didn't the insurance company turn them over? Why didn't they call, I don't know, is it the FBI? I don't know these things. Whoever you call, Crime Stoppers. Hello, Crime Stoppers. We have a crime, we need to stop. But no, the insurance company said, we're not paying this because you're trying to fraud us. We know that you're a fraudster, but pay us and we'll keep our mouth shut. And so when Sam learned that basically Mauricio and the agency gave the insurer some hush money, a little settlement check, then he was like, well, wait a minute. Why did they sue you? Oh, they sued you because you were committing fraud against the same exact house I was trying to buy, AKA you committed fraud against me. That's how that went down. All right, let's keep going. And that's when he was tipped off to a potential fraud and began to think that Mauricio likely never communicated his verbal offer to Teodoro. In his response to the allegations, Mauricio denied that there was a higher verbal offer. Mauricio, stop lying. Stop lying. Saying that Sam would have seen a red flag in the 33.5 million counter had he truly said to pass on a 40 million offer, and also wouldn't have waited so long to take legal action against him. It's not that he waited so long, he didn't know. You paid off the insurance company. How would he know? The insurance company didn't turn you in. There wasn't a press release about it. There wasn't a tweet or an Instagram post. How would he know? How would he know? Currently, the group is feuding over a set of emails sent in February 2016 that Oberfield's attorneys are trying to keep away from the case. Ooh! I got the receipts. I got the receipts. Apparently, there's receipts. But that Sam's attorneys claim will help prove that Mauricio and Oberfield were planning to team up on the flip since Mauricio scored the listing. So basically, they have emails that can prove that Mauricio and the other Mauricio, because they're both named Mauricio, from the moment they got the listing, they were scheming and scamming on how to flip the house for their own personal profit, on basically how to scam and scheme from the moment they got it. Is it because they got it from the African guy, from the African government? Is that why they're doing this? I don't know. But not only did they defrauded a lot, I don't know, but let's keep going. According to Oberfield's attorneys, the emails are protected attorney-client communications. And according to Mauricio, he had only recently gotten involved in Oberfield's company in June 2016. This is the way to get around that, guys. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know a couple of things. If they're saying that the emails are protected because they are attorney-client communications, who was CC'd on it and who was BCC'd on it? Because the moment a third party is privy to any communication between you and your client attorney privilege no longer exists. What does that mean? If I have a lawyer and me and my lawyer are at Starbucks and there's somebody who is there with us at Starbucks who's a third party who is privy to the conversation, it is no longer a tiny client privilege because a third party is there. So if there's anybody who is CC'd or BCC'd on this email and included, then it's no longer attorney-client communications. Also, who was the email to? They're saying it's to their attorney. Was Mauricio on it? Is it Mauricio's attorney? Whose attorney was it? Stop it, boo-boo. Stop it. Meanwhile, Judge Mark Epstein said in a summer ruling that documents have proven there was concrete February 2016 plan for a joint partnership that had long been in the works. So basically, the judge is citing on the people who are suing Mauricio and Mauricio. Basically, the judge is saying, hold up, the receipts are receipting. There is concrete evidence that on February 2016, there was a plan for a joint partnership that had long been in the works, meaning, i.e., Mauricio and Mauricio had already been planning to scam and scheme and defraud this man out of the profits of this house. Therefore, he also defrauded Sam and the other guy who is currently suing him. Wow. So the judge ruled in favor of the people suing. While working together in that way that Mauricio and Oberfield may have been is legally allowed, all parties must be aware of the partnership. That's correct. We talked about this earlier. What makes what Mauricio did illegal is the fact that they didn't disclose the partnership. If I'm a real estate agent and I'm selling my client's house, I can buy that house. There's no law against that. But there is a law against not disclosing that I am the partner, the person who's buying your house. Again, it goes back to fiduciary duty. I have a duty to act in your best interest. I have a duty to disclose that it is me who's buying it. That is where the fraud comes in. That is where the it being illegal comes in. It's not the fact that he bought the house. It's how he bought the house. Also, what's illegal is that, again, fiduciary duty to act in your best interest. If I don't tell you that there's an offer for your house for $400 million, because I know that the person buying it for $30 million is actually me, that is the fraud. That is what's illegal. It's the lying, it's the deception, it's the covering up, it's the not disclosing. That's what makes this fraud. All right, let's keep going. Dun, 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 dun. Mr. Oberfield was invited to bid on the Sweetwater Mesa property and submitted a good faith bid on the property without any knowledge of any offer by Mr. Hakim. Mr. Oberfield's bid was accepted only after another buyer's offer did not work out. Mr. Oberfield did absolutely nothing wrong and will eventually be fully vindicated in this case, Oberfield's attorney said in a statement to the Times. Mauricio Oberfield and the other parties are headed to mediation this week and to the 2023 trial if they can't settle. Mr. Oberfield's statement, who cares? That's also the problem. It doesn't matter if Mauricio Oberfield knew about the other person's offer. He's buying the house. It's none of his business what the other people are bidding. The problem is that Mauricio Umansky, who was the person selling the house, did not tell his client, the person who was selling the house, about the other person's offer. That's where the fraud comes in. That's where Sam and Mr. Hakim, that's where Sam Hakim and Aiton Segal, that's why they have a case against them. That's why they have a case against them. Because through the fraud, they got ate out. I don't know if you know what I mean by ate out. They got screwed. They got screwed over, basically. They lost, the potential to buy the home, which would be Sam Hakim. He lost the potential to buy the home through fraudulent activities. And then Aiton Segal, the person who was selling his home, his broker, lost a huge commission through fraud. And then the fact that they had the emails from February 2016 confirming that it was a long-standing scheme, that's just icing on the cake. My thought is this. I think that they're going to settle. I think Mauricio and Mauricio are going to settle. I think they're going to write them a check and settle with them. That's what I think. I don't think it's going to go to trial in 2023. I think that they're going to settle and get them to write a check to them and shut up. And then they're going to keep it moving and pushing and popping and then keep the agency open and doing all their fraud schemes and all of that stuff. And it also should be known that back in, I believe it was around that same exact time, 2015, 2016, when all of this was going on, when he defrauded his client out of $70 million because they sold it for $32.5 million, but when they flipped it, remember, they made a profit of $69.9 million. No, I'm sorry. They made a profit of $40 million because they sold it for about $32 million. Then they No, they bought it for about 32 million. Then they sold it for about 70 million. So they made a net profit of 40 million. So they scammed their client out of about $40 million, which is crazy, But it answers the question, because a lot of the people are like, how did Kyle and Mauricio get so rich so quickly? Because this opens up a couple of questions. One is, a lot of people said, you know, at the very beginning, housewives, Kyle, they didn't have that much money. Sorry if my internet went wacky. Sorry about that. So Kyle and Mauricio, they were fine. You know, they lived in Beverly Hills. They had money. But the money they have now, 10 years later, leaps and bounds. But if you're scamming your clients 40 million a pop, now you know why they have all the money they have now. And also now you know why Rick Hilton never wanted to make Mauricio a partner, because he never trusted him. There you go. He never trusted him. And now all of this stuff is going on. It's crazy. The fraud runs deep. The fraud runs long.